Hello, good evening. It's 6 p.m. in Australia. Just as I promised, I am live right now with Cy Blackburn, who is a coach's coach, and we're going to help you, or basically we're going to talk about how we were able to, especially you, Cy, because your story is so interesting, create a coaching business that gave you the lifestyle that you dreamed of. And my story is similar but very, very different. But this is all about you, and so that's what we're going to touch on. Where are you booming in from, Cy? Because I know you're not in Australia right now.
No, right now I'm actually in Berlin, and we have the opposite weather to you guys. I'm looking out my window right now, and spring is blooming. So longer days, hotter nights. Really nice over here.
Yeah, well, look at me. I'm rugged up, and you've got lovely spring colours on, and a jacket, nice jacket. So for those of you who haven't come across Cy, and I think a lot of you will know Cy, but for those of you who don't, he is a coach's coach. He will help coaches get their coaching business up and running to a point of abundance where you're getting clients as well. That's a really important. You have worked with Chris Howard as well, and you've got a following of 5.6 million on Facebook across your 3 different Facebook platforms there, haven't you?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. All in the personal development niche.
Yeah, that's amazing. No, I think all of us would say, I want 5.6 million. You started out as a dating coach as well, so you haven't always worked exclusively with coaches.
No, and I think that's important, because there are a lot of people that they get online, and that's what they've always done, is they've just coached coaches on how to build up their business online, but they've never actually done it themselves. So for me, Vanessa, my origins were actually in the dating coaching niche. I used to train men on how to approach and attract the women of their dreams. And I did that for like 7 years before I even touched the coaching coaches space.
So how did you go from doing that, from being in the dating niche, how did you then decide to swap over to working with coaches? What was that switch?
Well, it was kind of accidental. So when I was a dating coach, one of the things which happened was I was just getting no clients repetitively, again and again and again. And what I started to see was that anything that I was doing in the dating coaching niche just wasn't working. And it's funny, Vanessa, because when I look at it now, a lot of it just came down to my unwillingness to do certain things. You know, I thought sales was a dirty word. I thought marketing was a dirty word. I thought that, building up a business, I could pay somebody else to do that for me and I wouldn't have to do it myself. And so the journey kind of started for me in India, right? So I was living in Bombay at the time, and I had recently had somebody I thought I was going to marry. She cheated on me, and it completely broke me. Not because of the actions, but because I felt that I really had nothing else that I could go to. I had nobody else that I could approach or attract. I just didn't have the skills. So I made it my mission at the time to develop that part of my personality, and I just dove into it, right? That whole world of creating attraction. And so over the course of 4 to 5 months, I started to get very good at it, and people started to ask me to coach them. So it's like, yeah, sure. The best way to learn how to do something is to teach other people. So I started teaching other people, and then I got the idea of creating it into an actual business itself. And so I was getting maybe 1 paid client a month for a good year. And that was like at the very best. And then pretty soon I couldn't sustain myself anymore. So I had to move back in with mum and dad. So I moved back in with mum and dad and went back to my job in banking, right? Believe it or not, that was my alter ego. And I just felt completely destroyed. But, I ended up working with one of these dating coaching companies in the UK at the time. So my mom and dad, that's where we're from, if you're wondering about the funny accent. But I ended up working with one of these dating coaching companies out in London. And what I did there was I was just coaching people my own natural style of doing it. And one of the clients I ended up having, it turned out that he was inherited wealth from Sweden. So he had just jumped into all of this money. And so he loved the style I was doing so much that he actually brought this coaching business, which wasn't really a business. It was just me coaching people. I had no business plan, nothing. But he invested $100,000 and decided to bring this business out to Australia. So believe it or not, even though I'm not in Australia now, I did used to live in Perth for some time.
I know you were in Perth. I remember when we first met online and you told me you were formerly in Perth. So for anyone who doesn't know, I'm an ex-West Australian as well. So
yes, the more consistent weather in WA, right? Well,
yeah.
Good morning, Lillian, as well. I saw that you just put in a message in chat.
Yes, hi Lillian, good to see you. That's how I started too, until my husband told me to take this professionally, from friends to clients.
Exactly. So this investor gave me $100,000, and neither him nor I knew what we were doing at all when it came to creating a business. It was literally, we had some good fun, and we thought we would go out and party a little bit with all of this money and create a business. So you know what happens, Vanessa, when you're given a ton of money and you have no idea what to do?
No, I don't know.
Well, here's what we ended up doing. So we ended up spending $6,000 on a website developer to develop us a website which never was completed. We rented out in Freo, North Fremantle, this massive office. It was like 6,000 square feet, 600 square meters, huge. Benita, exactly.
Benita's joined me as well. We wish we knew. Sorry for interrupting your story, but it is funny.
But yes, I invested in this massive office space. I hired this woman to do all of our PR, a woman called Sue. And if you Google my name online, you'll see a ton of stuff in Western Australia. Hey, Richa, about what we were doing. But nothing actually ended up generating clients, nothing at all. And so it just so happened that we were branded months in, and I had to figure out how to turn this business around. So we had this great idea, and for anybody that's from WA, you'll know it's right next to Bali, that we were going to take all of our old clients and run a boot camp in Bali, all right?
Mm-hmm.
So we did it, and with great hustle, we managed to fill up this dating coaching business with about 20 people in Bali. So we ended up going to Bali, and I'm fully invigorated by the time we're finished, fully committed to making this business work. And I ended up coming back to Australia, and they stopped me at immigration, and they asked me, so what is it that you're actually doing in Australia? And I thought this was a bizarre question at the time, right? I'm running a business in Australia. And they said, well, are you earning money in Australia? And I thought, well, yeah, of course I am. It may not be a lot, but it's something. Hey, Jill, good to meet you. But it's something. And so they decided to interview me for 3 hours, literally. And what it turned out at the end of the day was that the visa I was on, I thought it was a business visa. It wasn't a business visa. It was an exploratory business visa. So that one word, exploratory, meant that I could not earn money in Australia. So they kept me in a room for 3 hours, literally all mirrors everywhere, one little table, and just started asking question after question after question. Right. And how exactly could I explain to them that I was a dating coach? It didn't exactly bring a lot to the economy of Australia.
Yeah, I get that.
But three hours in, I think that I've charmed this woman that I'm speaking to with my dating coaching skills, and there's no way that anything's going to happen. Right. I'm going to be released and it's going to be fine. And have you ever experienced something where you meet somebody and you just don't know what they're thinking, right? They have like this blank look on their face. Have you ever experienced something like that?
Well, I guess we all have probably at some point.
Well, that was it for me. And at that time, I just did not know what she was thinking. So what she ended up saying was, she said that, Sai, according to the Immigration Act, we have decided to revoke your visa and place a 3-year ban on you entering Australia effective immediately. So basically what that meant was that I had $300, a computer, and this lovely microphone with me at the time. And the next day I was deported back to Bali with none of my possessions. Everything was held in Australia. So at that time, it was, you had to make it work, right? Because I had a 30-day visa in Bali, and if I did not make this coaching business work, I wouldn't have enough money to fly home or extend my visa at all. And
so you hit a place of desperation.
Exactly. And I had to make it work. But this time I had
no backup plan?
Say again?
No backup plan?
It's hard to make a backup plan for T14. What I'll say to that. But no backup plan at all. Literally nothing apart from $300. What happened was my credit cards, my bank accounts were all frozen for those 3 years. So it was really had to make something work. And what I ended up doing was I literally searched on my Facebook friends list, and I looked for, well, who exactly knew how to create a coaching business online? And I came across a mentor of mine, a guy called Adam Davies. He no longer mentors, but I literally begged this guy to teach me how to create this coaching business successfully. And he taught me concepts like creating funnels. He taught me concepts like driving traffic and running webinars. And within 30 days, I applied some of the concepts which he taught me. Now, it didn't take off overnight, but I started to get 2 to 3 clients online I was coaching through Skype. And what that meant was that I could extend my visa, I could stay another month. Now, over the course of a year, I turned this coaching business around, and this dating coaching business was actually just running online by running online seminars, webinars. And at that point, I said, well, do other coaches have the same problems which I had, right? Are they struggling to get clients? Are they struggling to get high-ticket clients? Are they struggling to convey their value without being face-to-face, right? And so I started to work with an NLP coach at the time, and she was struggling to make her business work. So I said, well, why not take these same funnels that Adam taught me, and let's just try applying it to the NLP coaching niche. So we tried it, and it worked. She was getting the same results as me. So I tried it with a hypnotherapist and a sports coach and a fitness coach, and I started trying it more and more with coaches. And what I started to realize, Vanessa, was 2 things. The first one was that these coaches are struggling. They have a vision and a passion of what they want to give to the world, but they just don't know how to turn it into an inspirational business which allows them to live the life of their dreams. And the second thing was that coaching businesses, when you look at them from a dating coach to an NLP coach, they are fundamentally the same. They are experts giving advice or coaching to individuals. So when you looked at creating this online ecosystem or this online funnel, it didn't matter so much that you were a dating coach or an NLP coach. The systems and the funnels worked regardless. And so then I started to say, well, if I'm making so much of an impact with my dating coaching, what if I was going to multiply that impact by coaching coaches? And then slowly and surely over the next 3 to 4 years, we built up a company, and it just started with me. Now it's 28 people that work with us full time. We've got coaches that are all around the world working with our clients as well, really helping them to build an inspirational coaching business.
Yeah, look, there's this picture online that I'm seeing at the moment of you in your startup office that's going around. You know that?
Oh, yeah,
that
yeah.
one?
The Facebook ads that we put right now, yeah.
Yeah, so that shows up in my feed, you in your first office. So if anyone wants to check that out, tell us a little bit about that first office where you started.
So
it looked a mess.
So when I started that office, it wasn't really an office, it was an apartment in Bali. And what I was doing in that picture was I was going feed asking people, hey, you know what, you look like you need help with dating. I'm a dating coach. How about I help you out? And that's what I was doing. I was having a conversation with somebody that I'd spoken to. And at that time, I told her my prices. I was charging per hour, right, back then. And I told her my prices were $50 an hour. And you know what she did? Sorry, you know what he did? He ended up negotiating down to $20. And at the time, it was like, yeah, and the worst part is that I ended up taking it because I had no other option. And so, back then I had my computer and my microphone, which I will never throw away. And my computer at the time, Vanessa, was literally blowing smoke. I was doing anything I could to keep this thing alive, right? Because it would overheat whenever I would take a Skype call. So I ended up realizing that, you can remove the battery. And then when you remove the battery, the computer cools down. But then the computer started to overheat again. So what I used to do in the evenings was freeze a Tupperware of water and put my laptop on top of this Tupperware in the morning, so at least it wouldn't die on the day. So, yeah, good times. Good times.
Do you think there's a difference? Like I've done, I started out in the personal development field, coaching women. And like you, I've transitioned into working with coaches. I have found that place of, I have to make this work, that place of desperation, because that's where I was as well. Like I got divorced, I got chucked out of my company. I had no option but to make this coaching business work. I find just from what I've experienced and from what I've watched in others, not having that backup plan gives you more drive, more incentive to actually do what you need to do and get the help that you need and the information you need to actually make your coaching business work. Have you seen that in general in people?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's when you're at this point that there is no other option, you make it work. And it's funny because like there's this illusion that becoming a successful coach will just happen like that. What I started to realize is that success is a result of all of the failed attempts that you've taken along the journey. So let me give you an example of that, right? When you're trying to make your coaching business work, there are going to be a ton of things that you attempt that are not going to work. But then 1 out of, let's say, 10 ends up working and ends up working in overdrive. And that elevates you to the next level. So bringing it back to your point, when you have no other option, what you end up doing and what I ended up doing was I started to let go of the arrogance that I had when I was running the dating coaching business. For me, Vanessa, I thought that by having this dating coaching business and having $100,000, I could do whatever the hell I wanted. And I wasn't willing to do sales. I wasn't willing to market. I wasn't willing to put myself out there and create content. I wasn't willing to do that. But when it came down to it and I had to, it didn't matter anymore. I used to message people on Facebook asking them for dating coaching. That's how desperate I was just to make it work.
Yeah, you do a mind switch, don't you, when you don't have that backup plan. The backup plan, I think, in some way makes us soft in the sense, I'll have something to fall back on if it doesn't work out. But if coaching is your dream, your passion, and you have to make it work, it's all you want. Like for me, I had to make this work, Si, because I did not want to leave my country property and be driving in and out to town to have a 9-to-5 job.
Wow.
Just because of lifestyle, like I do the wildlife caring, so I didn't want to mess that up. And I have to be home, pretty much 24/7 when I bring in all the little babies. So that was my reason behind it. And your reason started there in that dating coach when you got deported.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is hilarious.
Hilarious, not so much at the time, but in retrospect, good story.
It's a good story, and it's funny now, and I think that's what we have to remember about our journeys, the pain, the desperation that we go through at the time, it shall pass.
Yeah,
And we can look back on it.
Exactly. And so,
what is a day for Sai now? A typical day now, like, you've got a very, very successful coaching business now. So for you, what is a typical day in the life of Sai, the now no longer dating coach, struggling dating coach, and now very successful coach's coach?
yes, and actually married, so kind of took the dating coaching.
I was going to mention that, everyone who listened to the very beginning of this, where Sai told about his sad love life. He is now married.
It had a happy ending.
Yes, there's a happy ending. He is now married to a very beautiful looking woman by the looks of your profile picture that you've got there with her.
Yeah, expecting a kid soon as well. So it's taking its journey. That's right.
Yeah.
So these days, let me give you an example of today. So you and I are having an interview right now. In an hour, I'm speaking, having another interview with the founder of Noble Manhattan, which is the world's largest coach accreditation, second to ICF. This evening, heading off to London to do some seminars and some speaking. Then on the weekend, for anybody that's ever done the Landmark Forum, decided to get into that as well. So really looking forward to that. And I think it's just a lot of travel, a lot of choice as to how you spend your time. What ends up happening in a coaching business is in the beginning, you're kind of doing everything yourself, right?
Yeah.
But as you start to make a little bit of money, you kind of go down these two directions of, do you want to continue the more lifestyle based business? And Lillian, it's funny. I want to come to Switzerland soon. We actually have a bunch of clients there. So it'd be an awesome place for us to go. But back to it, you kind of split into two journeys. The first one is to make it more of a lifestyle-based business, which is just allows you to live the way that you want to live. And the second journey is, do you want to make it more of a performance coaching business where you're really reaching an impact? Now, if you choose to go down the second one, what that means is that as you start to create more of an income, other people will take over the roles which you don't want to do. So right now, a lot of the people in the business are doing things which I no longer want to do and they love to do. We have our tech guys taking care of all the tech and the coding, which I know how to do because I had to, but I hated doing it. And they just love it. They could not stand the idea of speaking to somebody for an hour or 2 hours about empowerment. They just love tech. So that's the typical day these days.
Yeah, and I think that's where people, coaches have to start to think about when they're going to make that switch, isn't it? From I do everything myself to starting to bring on a team, or at least outsourcing in the beginning and getting others to do it for you while you, the coach, concentrate on what you do best. Because like you, Sai, I can put together a website. Yeah, it may not be Flash, but I can get templates and put together a website. I don't want to do that. Totally. I'd rather do stuff like what we're doing now. Do you know what I mean? This is more fun for me.
Totally, I get you.
Yeah, so Lillian has said, please let me know when you are in Switzerland.
Lillian, what part of Switzerland are you based in? Is it Zurich or one of the other cities?
Well, we'll move on until she replies, and then we'll see where she is. Now, you have this webinar that you've told me that is coming up, and there you go, Sai, Geneva.
Beautiful spot, Geneva.
No, I've never been to Switzerland, so, if you want to take me with you, Sai.
Well,
I can meet you too, Lillian, then.
Yeah, if you love the country, you're going to love Switzerland. Stunning place.
Yeah, I've always wanted to go there, like those days of being little and watching The Sound of Music.
Yeah.
The hills are alive.
Yeah.
That one. Now, your webinar coming up that I'm really happy to tell people about is how your coaching business can let you live the lifestyle of your dreams. But what you're going to show people who come onto that webinar with you is, things like how to bring in the coach, how to bring in the clients. You've got the 5 proven pillars you'll need to launch a coaching business which scales to 6 figures quickly. So what else can we kind of expect on that webinar? Because that sounds pretty interesting to me already.
So basically on the webinar, how your coaching business can let you live the lifestyle of your dreams, what we're covering are those distinctions which Adam Davies, the first mentor I ever had, taught me back in the days. And they come from simply going into selecting a niche, understanding the concept of high ticket coaching as well. Because for me, I started at $50 an hour, right? That's what I was charging as a coach. And if you're charging by the hour, you're doing it totally wrong. However, simply packaging up your coaching is also not enough as well. You have to structure the package in such a way that it's so compelling for your people to sign up with that you just get no resistance when you're offering what you have. We're also going to cover the idea of leveraging yourself so that you can ultimately earn 5 to 6 to 10 times as much as you're currently earning as a coach. And it all comes down to how is it that you, as a coach, can leverage your time so that you can be in front of your clients all the time without you actually having to spend your time doing it. Now, the secrets to a successful coaching business are very, very simple. What is difficult about creating a coaching business is understanding what not to do. You see, there is so much information out there, Vanessa, that it ends up being an information overwhelm. One person says this, another person says that. Then you look at Amazon and they're doing something totally different. Then you look at eBay and you're like, well, eBay looks like a successful online business. Maybe I should copy them. And you end up just not knowing what to do. The fact of the matter is, if you're a coach and you're not generating 4,000 to 5,000 a month right now, the distinctions for you to be able to create that 4 to 5K are going to be very different from those when you're creating 10 to 20K or 50 to 100K a month as a coach. And what we're going to focus on is how those initial people can get started, replace their full-time income, and run a coaching business from anywhere in the world. So that's what we're going to be covering in this webinar.
Yeah, yeah. So this is like, who should be listening to the webinar? Now, obviously startup coaches should be hopping onto this. And I dare say also you would, it would be catered around coaches who might have been in the business for a little while, but haven't managed to upscale to that level or drop the other income, you know, the second income that they're having to rely on. So would it be perfect for those two sets of people?
Exactly. It would be perfect from the startup all the way up to those generating between 10 and 15K a month in their coaching business. When you get beyond that, what's going to end up happening is the distinctions that we cover in the webinar, you're already going to understand and you're already going to have applied yourself. Hence why you're doing 15, 20, 40K a month. So if you're not at that point right now where the coaching business is generating between 4,000 to 5,000 a month, or you're generating under 10K a month, the distinctions that we're going to cover in this webinar will dramatically revolutionize how you run your coaching business. It will make sure you can charge high ticket, run it from anywhere in the world, and most importantly, leverage yourself so you're not spending hour after hour, day after day, hammering away at this coaching business.
Yeah, and for those of you, Vanessa, Karen, I'm going to pop this link up to this webinar that you can jump onto. In a second. I'm just going to grab that size so that we can have that, and I should be able to put it up here, all going well. So while I'm doing this, to stop people from sitting there being really, really bored, I would love if for coaches, if we wanted to get a client this week, what do you think is one of the first things that we should be doing as coaches to get out there and get a client this week? Now, I know some of the people on the call and some it will be, you know, one of their very first clients. Obviously, some of them will be, you know, they've had a few clients, it will be an extra one. So what's that? Well, I pop this in.
So there are two ways to run the coaching business. I'll go through a couple of tactical things that you can get clients straight away. But really what you've got to aim for as a coach is to mature the business in such a way that you're never having to do a lot to bring in clients. They just happen on a regular basis. So it's important to make those two distinctions, because you can really sprint and get 5 to 10 clients in a single month, but then the next month have absolutely zero. Or we can create the business in such a way that it's sustainable. So I really encourage you guys to as coaches, look at the sustainability of your coaching business. How can you create it in such a way that you are getting 10 to 15 high-ticket clients a month? That's an important question. Now, on the more tactical side, when you're looking into, and just before I go into tactical side, what Lillian is saying, can this webinar help me? I've decided to have high-ticket clients, but a limited number per year. This is because I also have a non-profit that I run, and I don't want to burn out. Totally fair. The few clients I get are already high-end and are limited. How do you get more high-end clients? Can your webinar help? Lillian, that's exactly what the webinar covers, to create a mature coaching business which generates high-end clients. So it's going to be perfect for what it is that you want to achieve. Now, in terms of the tactical things on how to get clients this week, one of the most powerful things that I've figured out was creating a joint venture with people that have groups or networks of people that you want to serve. Right? So if you're if you're into dating coaching like I was, there are a ton of singles groups on Facebook, a ton of single meetup groups on meetup.com, which are going to be perfect to partner with. When you partner with these guys, what they do is they actually promote you for free, and you give them a commission based on everything that you generate, and that's called a joint venture. So the quickest way to generate probably between 4 to 5 clients in the next week or 2 weeks is to joint venture with somebody that is related to your space. Perfect places to find them are LinkedIn groups. There are a ton of those if you're in the business development space. Facebook groups, a ton of those in the personal development space, and meetup.com. In fact, we did a blog post on our website. If you go to side.coach and go to the blog, we talk exactly how we use Meetup, the exact scripts and texts and templates that we use to book in, I think last year, maybe 15 speaking gigs without having to pay anything ourselves. So joint ventures, Vanessa, would be the best way of getting that done quickly.
And obviously, for anyone who's watching who doesn't really understand a joint venture, Sai and I have known each other for a while, and we've been doing a few of these connection things ourselves. What we are doing right now is a JV, isn't it?
Exactly.
Because I'm introducing Sai to you guys, because I know that the content that Sai has got is beneficial to you, my audience, and Sai knows that I've got an audience where this fantastic content is perfect for.
Yeah.
So that's the JV in action, what you're watching right now.
In a nutshell. And it works the same, regardless of whatever niche that you're in. It's all about giving value to the people that you serve. That's so important.
Yeah, because, as a group owner, I want to make sure that the people in my group are getting great content, and it doesn't have to come just from me. Do you know what I mean? I'm more than happy to introduce people. So if anyone wants to use that tactic that Sai is talking about, this is a way you can see it in action. So Lillian has said, thank you. That is my next step. I'm working on my JV online summit this summer, but I have problems getting really good coaches to work with me.
Well, that's definitely something which we talk about in the webinar, but just to kind of whet your appetite here, what I will say is getting people to work with you is all about value, and value is defined as the ability for you to be of service to another person. So people will work with you if they see that you can serve them in a way that they want to be served. So what's the most important thing for you, Lillian, to figure out is how do your coaches that you want to work with, how do they want to be served? And I can tell you right now, a simple one is free promotion, right? People in the JV space really want 3 things. They want free promotion for you to promote them. They want to make a good income off what you're doing. And they also want to spread their message to a relevant audience. So really look into those 3 when you're crafting your messages to other coaches.
Yeah, fantastic. Now, if anyone else has got any more questions, please hop in now and ask. If not, now I'm hoping you all can see that link to the webinar that I've put up there. I'm actually not seeing it, but it says that it's up, but I'm actually not seeing it. So I hope it's there. If not, once I get off this, I'll just make sure, Si, that we put it up there with this, because the replay will be through the group anyway. So,
Yeah, totally.
And Lillian has said thank you for that as well. Okay, here's one from Karen. Can you see that, Si?
Absolutely. So Karen, what has been the structure in a sales funnel? So it's hard for me to explain this in the time that we have left. On the last bit of the webinar, I am actually planning on explaining exactly what that sales funnel was, but it was a very simple high-ticket funnel. I started with creating traffic, driving that traffic to an opt-in. At the end of the opt-in, having a call that people could actually book in. Now, that's a vastly simplified version of what it is that I'm going to teach you in the webinar, but that was the essence of it itself.
Okay, cool. Just hoping that that's there now. So hopefully you guys will be able to see that, because Lillian has, yeah, that should show up there now. Lillian said that some of that stuff is not showing up now in the comments, so something's going on there. Okay, so there is where you can actually register and hop on this webinar with Si. I totally support this webinar because I know it's going to be great stuff in it. I've listened to your webinars before, Si, anyway. I always get heaps of value from them. So I want to say thank you so much for taking, 40 minutes out of your day to come join us.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
Karen,
it's always a lot of fun to kind of free flow on one of these interviews. So thank you so much, Vanessa, for having me, and thank you guys for staying all the way till the end and listening through it. And I'm really looking forward to being able to serve you a little more on the webinar itself.
Yeah, fantastic. So thank you, Si. Have a wonderful day. We're coming into evening now, and I will say good night to everyone. Thank you, as Si said. Yeah, thank you, Simon. So wonderful to see you.
See you later, Simon. Bye, Lillian.
Thank you, everyone, for popping on. And I love this interaction. I actually love doing lives. I think they're great. Don't you, Si? They are fun.
Awesome. Your group is killer.
I know, they are fantastic, aren't they? Look at them going off.
Maddie, good to meet you, mate.
Okay, we better go.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Make sure you hop onto that webinar and have a listen to Si you'll go into far more detail, won't you, Si, on that webinar than what we have on this.
Well, we have a lot longer in the webinar too. It's going to be fun. I'll see you guys there. Take care.
Bye-bye. Bye.